All right. Got it.
Evening once again, everyone. My name is Bernard Cana, editor photographer for the website known as the Photo Pit. To your right, my left actually, and the way I'm looking at him, is Danny Mazzeo of The Thresholds. Don't forget to go like his page. You can find it on Facebook under @Cross the Threshold if you're having trouble picking it up. So please go ahead and check it out. Yep. So I told Danny I would explain something real quick. So if anyone can notice, I'll tip my camera a little bit here. I'm wearing one of my favorite band's shirts of all time. And if you ever ask me who is my favorite band, it is Rush by far, even though they are far from metal. Prog rock would probably be the best way to describe them, but I have been a fan of that band for ages and a day. And see, the problem is that normally when I come on and do these live streams, even if I do band interviews, I'm usually wearing my brand shirt because that's what you do. But, you know, I only own so many of those. And Blue Ridge has been dropping artists like crazy. So I kind of ran out of shirts. And let me rephrase. I ran out of Photo Pit shirts to wear. I did not run out of band shirts. If my wife had
ran
ever
out of
jumped
clean
on here,
Photo Pit shirts to wear. All right, let's call it.
Let me tell you, this is no joke. I could probably go 2 months without doing laundry and still be wearing a band shirt to spare.
As we all should. As we all should.
That's well, my wife over there would probably say no.
I do have to jump in though, and before we really get into the meat of things tonight, for those that are watching with us already, that was not a hint. That is on Bernard's shirt, as far as we know. But
it's not a hint.
It's not, just because people are always looking for where's the catch. This is just
there's no
this
catch.
is just paying homage to an absolutely phenomenal band.
Homage my band. Amanda, where are you? I saw you waiting in the waiting room. I went to go click the button and now she's gone. Is she still there? Hang on. Can I find the waiting room? Thank you, Zoom, for being, oh so helpful. Hang on. Where are you? Yeah, enable the waiting room. Yeah, I see. No. I can't bring up the waiting room from here. Really? Really?
Can you make me a co-host?
Can I make you a co-host? I don't know.
No, you haven't. I haven't earned that right, but if it's gonna let Amanda in, she can't get in for some reason, but she's here.
She's not here because I don't see her here. Amanda,
no, but she's commenting. She's live with us as a keyboard warrior at the moment.
No, but
Amanda, we appreciate you.
No. She needs to be here. She was in the waiting room and she dropped out. Amanda, come back in here. There we go.
It keeps kicking her.
It keeps kicking her. I clicked the button.
Yeah.
There she is.
Look at that. Here we go.
Are you there?
Technology's hard.
I'm here.
Yay! Everyone, let's introduce you to the disembodied voice of Amanda Spradlin. For those of you who don't know, she is one of the admins over at the Blue Ridge Rock Festival Fan Zone. She does more than that, beyond a doubt, but I won't discuss that because she may not want people to know that. So if Amanda wants to share what she does behind the scenes outside of that, that's up to her to decide.
It all. I think everyone does a little bit of everything, to be honest, but
yeah, you guys do. You guys absolutely do.
You guys do a phenomenal job, and you have earned your wings, to say in the least.
Yeah,
thank you.
without a doubt. Yeah, and let me say this. Go ahead, Amanda.
I told Bernard, I was like, I'll join tonight if I'm not asleep already. I'm excited because last night we had like a 10 p.m. announcement, and then there was a 9 a.m. one this morning, and it's just been. It feels like we've been announcing for 45 days, and it's only been like 4.
4, yeah. And we're gonna talk about those too while we're here. And let me say this because I have to say this, okay? Especially because of last year, the people who are admins, moderators, and the like, they're doing their best to moderate the fan zone as best as they can, but we have to remember, they are people too. They have lives. They are busy with other stuff. And please, kindness, courtesy is key. Because last year, with unfortunately some of the issues that Blue Ridge had, bumps and tribulations as we went through, you know, a lot of the mods and admins got bombarded with a lot of negativity, a lot of hate at times. That's not fair to them. You know, they were doing the best that they can to do what they needed to do, you know, especially for the crew that works behind the scenes at the Blue Ridge Rock Festival. So please, kindness, courtesy to any of your admins, moderators, the staff of Blue Ridge, whatever, because let me tell you this, hate will get you nowhere, plain and simple. Anger, I can understand people being angry about stuff, but hate will get you nowhere. You know, please, kindness and courtesy. That's the way we want to do. So in any case, all right. Should we talk about some bands?
Let's do it.
We should.
I feel like today was a very exciting day.
It was an exciting day. It was.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I mean, there was an announcement last night when we were already done talking about bands.
Yeah, we got to start there. We have to start there. So let's start there. Danny, we'll do the same thing like we did last night. I'll give the rundown. We could comment as we go after that. Sound good?
Works on this end.
All right. So let's talk about the first one. So last night, after Danny and I had dropped off, you know, on the live stream, of course, there was an announcement that came through that we missed. So that announcement, for those who don't know, is the Union Underground. The Union Underground is a I don't want to say an odd, I don't want to say it's an odd selection because I do love them. I really do. But what's odd, what I found really odd is I was doing research is that as far as I know, they've only had one studio album. And that was like their debut album that was called An Education in Rebellion. Outside of that, they had 2 EPs, one before they kind of broke, you know, mainstream big. And then another one that was a live album called Live One Nation Underground. But here's the thing that I think most people remember from them. Their song Across the Nation had a huge impact on television, especially for me, because I was a big fan at the time. That song in March of 2002 led the opening for Monday Night Raw from the WWE. And it stayed there.
Awesome.
Wait for this, because this blew my mind when I was looking this up. It stayed there as their theme song for 4 years.
Oh,
on television.
That's fantastic.
Right? So when you want to talk about a band that has influence on a nation, right? And one that people remember, because I remember them and like I love them. I so love them. I like this edition. And we're talking about, this is now reunion band 3, right? As far as I remember, like they're the 3rd now on the list. So this was cool. I like this. Yeah, Union Underground's good play. Good play. What do you got, Danny?
So one of the things that jumps out at me when I think about Union Underground is their bassist. And so bassist is John Moyer. That name, for those that aren't familiar, with Disturbed. So he has gone on to other bands and done all these things. And so to be able to see him kind of come back to where he started with Union Underground, to me, is extremely exciting. You always get that fresh energy right off of something like that. And this is a band, when their debut came out, I ran that CD to the ground, front to back, nonstop, and it's still in regular rotation. So I went total fangirl on that one and loved that announcement.
Yeah, I agree. Amanda, do you have any comments or words?
I didn't even know who this band was, I'm gonna be honest. I'm like the metalcore, like emo kid of the festival, so
we'll get there.
There's stuff for you too.
Yeah, there's stuff for everybody. Exactly right. So like
You're right.
Some of the bands, I see the names and I'm like, who even is this? But you know, it had a really, really big positive reaction last night.
Yep. With good reason. I think with good reason. And for those just little tidbits, San Antonio, Texas origin, they've defined as new metal. I guess, like, to me, that might have been close to like when that sound was just starting to make its way, you know, through the airwaves, right around that time, right? 1996 was their technically formation.
See, I was 5, so that would explain why I don't know. I was 5 years old. Yeah.
Damn it.
Wow.
Thanks, Amanda.
My dad had me listening to Metallica and AC/DC, you guys. I'm so sorry.
Now I'm so what? Sorry, I got a little distracted for a minute because my cat is literally stealing something of mine as I'm just watching.
Cat older than Amanda because at this point I feel old as hell too.
I do. Thank you. Thanks, man. All right.
So sorry,
Moving on.
besties.
Let's say I want to say moving on to the announcement that actually got me pumped for this.
Turn up, man. Bring it on. Bring it on.
Let me start with one thing because I've been hyping on this before, Danny, and I'm going to hype it on again. Band from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
We get it,
coming to
Bernard.
Virginia.
We get it. We get it.
They'll come to Virginia because they know where to play.
Yeah, right. And we're just going to keep rubbing that in. Sorry. But in any case, so this band has been around honestly, this band has been around forever, right? I mean, if you're into rock and metal and you don't know who this band is, I have no words for you as far as I'm concerned, because everyone should know who this band is. Besides the fact that they were so active on touring, they're very active on social media, especially now. And I want to talk about that in a minute. They're very active on social media. But the band that I am referring to, I absolutely adore these guys, is Nonpoint. And I don't think I could have gotten any more excited about announcements until I saw that for sure. And the reason for me, especially with this, is that they were supposed to be there last year. They unfortunately had an incident. It was a trailer accident that occurred that had all their gear. They had posted on their social with the thing in a ditch that carried all of their stuff that they were needing for the tour. They had to cancel that tour for the majority of it, because then they had to go through insurance and recovery and all stuff like that. But Blue Ridge, unfortunately, was one of the stops that they were supposed to play, and that got thrown out the window for them. So I was very sad about that, but I'm so glad to see they're coming back this year. So let's talk just a little bit around them. 1997 was their first official, get together for the band. The majority of the band has been there for, Elias and Rob, the vocals drummer, have been there from the beginning. Rashid joined them in 2011. Adam joined them also in 2011. Jason, who's the new lead guitarist, only just recently joined in 2019. It was BC Kutchman, who's been like one of their most well-known guitarist there for a long time, and along with Andrew Goldman, who was there also from the start, but he dropped in 2008. But let's talk about discography for a second, because holy heck, we want to talk about a discography. Separate Yourself was their first one in 1997. They went then from Struggle in 99, Statement in 2000, Development in 2002, Recoil in 2004, To the Pain in 2005, Vengeance 2007, Miracle 2010, fantastic album, by the way. Self-titled album Nonpoint in 2012, The Return in 2014, another great album. The Poison Red, and I think that's the one that a lot of people will remember if you're a Nonpoint fan, or even like maybe a average fan, like, oh, I've heard of them. The Poison Red 2016, but then X, which was their 10th album in 2018, that thing was so off the charts. It was ridiculous, by singles galore. And just every one of them rolled off as like, I could play this all day long. When I first listened to that album, I listened to it cover to cover multiple times just in a row, because it's just that darn good. Chaos and Earthquakes, right? That's how that one was. So there's my 2 cents about Nonpoint, because I could talk about them all day long. I love these guys. Love.
I don't know how I'm supposed to. I really don't know how I'm supposed to follow that. I mean, you've teed them up perfectly. Their social media presence alone, they are nonstop engaging with their fans.
They're literally
their
in the
live
fan
shows
zone.
are nonstop energy. Their discography, they have not paused long enough since they started. It is absolutely amazing to see them still coming out and crushing everything that they do. And for me, it's, from when What a Day came out, I remember getting a little demo tape from them, like when they first came out. And Amanda, those used to be played on a cassette player.
You know what, Danny?
I don't get to make young jokes often, so I'm gonna live this up for just a moment. Please forgive me.
I mean, they did release like 10 whole studio albums before I was graduating high school. So.
Oh my gosh.
So, and I will say, it looks like we've got some real Nonpoint fans that are viewing right now with us, calling out Bullet with the Name.
Yep.
Then their recent Prince cover. Now, I will say Nonpoint does some incredible covers that range the gamut, and it really shows Elias's just raw, incredible talent
in the air tonight.
And what they bring to the table is 100% heart and soul. And so I'm with you. I am absolutely beyond ecstatic that these guys are hitting the stage again.
Amanda, you made a comment that's really critical for people to know. Could you say that again about Nonpoint?
They're in the fan zone. They joined the fan zone like last year, I believe it was.
So fans, they're there. They're there. I tagged him saying, if anyone from Nonpoint wants to come join, please feel free. Let me know. I'll send you the invite. Unfortunately, nobody saw. But maybe one day we'll do it. Who knows? So, who knows?
Todd might be able to set something up.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually very good friends with their publicist too, so I might ask her about that and see if they'd be willing to take a night to join on a live stream.
They're super. I've never met them, but I've heard that they're so sweet.
I will talk about that for a second. So I have met them. They are super sweet. They are so fan centric, and that's the one thing. And this is to me the shame of COVID and the pandemic. And I could be looking with blinders on for this one. It would be so awesome by September if this thing was really kind of just so quelled and quiet that it was really more just it's just we're living with it and that's it, and we just understand risks about it. Because if you could ever want to meet a band who will happily take photos with you, sign things, whatever, Nonpoint is that band. Because let me tell you one thing about Nonpoint. Anyone who's been to a Nonpoint show, if you've ever stayed to the very, very end, if you haven't, I'm sorry you haven't, but if you ever stayed to the very, very end, I would say 9 times out of 10 for every show I've been to for theirs, they are at their booth, every one of them, signing anything and everything you will bring them, and they don't leave until the last person is out. That's the kind of band they are. They're fan-centric. And one of the things I should mention real quick. So if anyone who knows about their history, I can't remember the label that they were with before. I want to say it was Roadrunner Records. Don't quote me on that. But they actually decided themselves to step away from big label writing and decided to self-publish on their own with 361 Records. The 361 is one of their major label for themselves as their recognizing by them under 361. They have a Facebook group, I think it's called that too. It's like 361 Nonpoint fans or something like that.
Yeah.
But right there, but their label they made themselves because they felt the way that they wanted to continue to publish music was not going to work with what major record labels would expect from a band. And they understood that. And Elias told me in an interview last year, he said, I could not ever expect nor ask a major label to do something like that for us when we know what we want to do. And you know what happened when they went on their own? Still successful as always. So just saying. I mean, look at, I'll go a perfect example. They haven't dropped a new album yet since 2018, right? But Ruthless has blown up the charts, and that's just the one single they had put out.
Yeah, it's huge.
Right? I mean, they know what they're doing. These guys are smart. They've been in the business forever, and yeah, Blue Ridge, great.
We love a fellow independent. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm game. So game for this. So game. All right. So have the fans talked enough about Nonpoint? Viewers, do you want more? I can babble about them all day. Just saying.
Nobody's telling us to shut up, but I do think that in the essence of time, we could always come back.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Moving on. So, next one. So this one, and Amanda, correct me if I'm wrong. They were supposed to be there last year, but couldn't because of travel restrictions.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Right.
They're from Sweden, I believe it is.
Yes. Right. So, I'll talk about Swedish music in a second. So here's our first international artist that's been announced for Blue Ridge Rock Festival. Band that was supposed to be there last year, but they couldn't because of travel restrictions due to COVID. Thanks, COVID, for nothing.
It sucked.
Yeah,
we couldn't,
go ahead, Amanda, what are you going to say?
International bands, it was just so sad. They just couldn't tour last year at all. Everyone was just stuck.
Yep. Yeah, I felt terrible for them because they wanted to. It's not that they didn't. It's just that their countries were very restrictive on what they could. Sweden was one of them. I think Norway was another. Australia was even worse.
Australia was terrible.
Yeah,
but it's really nice to see all of these tours. Like, I feel like everyone started announcing all at once, and it's because they were just so easy to get back on the road.
Yes, indeed. But this band, I'm a fan of theirs. I will admit this. I got introduced to them from a friend, so I can't say I'm super fan, but I'm a fan enough to know I would see them every single time they played if they came to town. That band is In Flames. In Flames has been around, since, according to my data, I found the 1990s, like literally 1990. How old are you then, Amanda?
1990.
She's never going to join us again, Bernard.
1990. Honey,
Yeah.
I was a forethought. I was born in 91.
Oh my gosh, you're such a youngin, such a youngin. Anyway, they formed in 1990. Their first album they released was in '94, known as the Lunar Strain, and they have a discography that's just as big as Nonpoint. I mean, seriously, it's huge. The Jester Race came out in '96, Horacle in '97, Colony in 1999. This album, though, the next one, 2000, Clayman, was probably one of their biggest albums that most fans, if you're a really big In Flames fan, that's the one that people are like, oh yeah, that's the one. Reroute to Remain in 2002, Soundtrack to Your Escape in 2004, Clarity in 2006, A Sense of Purpose 2008, Sounds of a Playground Fading 2011. You see how big we're going here already? We're not even into close to ours yet, our years. Siren Charms 2014, Battles in 2016, The Mask was the most recent in 2019. I caught them on tour with Five Finger Death Punch. Was the first time I actually got to see them live. Wow, that's an experience, I'll tell you. They're hard hitting. They love the fans. They love their music. And believe it or not, they're considered. And this one was kind of odd for me in a sense. And I don't know, maybe I have to give more stuff to listen. My friend Jason would probably say, "Oh no, you're right on par with that." They're related as Swedish death metal.
I would say that. I mean,
You'd say that? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of like thought about it for a second. I'm like, I don't know. Heavy metal for sure. Like death. And the thing is I'd say with like Swedish music in general has a very different feel by their definitions of what we think is like a rock or a heavy metal or even a death metal compared to like a US version of them. So
see, I'm on the fence about it because have you guys ever heard of Viljarda?
Yes.
From Sweden? That to me is like Swedish death metal.
Yes.
So like there's some similarities there, but like they're not on the Viljarda level, I don't think.
Right.
Just for me personally.
And I get that.
Courtney has given us a really good description in the comments on this video, and it's melodic death metal.
Yeah.
Like if you were going to be sung in a nice serenade on your way out of this world, it would be through In Flames, and you would go out with a smile. And I respect that, right? Like
I can dig it.
Yeah.
They really do have a unique sound in what they can blend and through their range. I'm a big fan. One of the more recent times that I saw them was with a Five Finger Death Punch tour, and they just their guitars sound incredible. So I mean that's what stood out for me. Big fan all around, but their guitar work is just phenomenal.
Oh yeah, it's incredible.
I will wholeheartedly agree with that. I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, I just don't know how you. Yeah, this is a band you're gonna have to listen for yourselves. And thank you, Courtney. If you've never listened to them before, do yourself a favor and go listen to them. I think you'll be very impressed with them. Number one, and number two, I think you'll just absolutely love them. And but when they're live's just a whole different level for them, without a doubt. You'll absolutely love this band. Absolutely.
Hey, can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
I know that people like want artist announcements all at once, right? I like that we do them individually because I check out bands that I normally wouldn't have, and then I can check them out at the festival. Fun fact, this is how I discovered Bad Flower. From last year. I saw the announcement go up and I was like, oh, I've heard Ghost. And then I heard like snippets of the other songs and I checked them out and immediately adored them.
Oh.
And had it not been for that, I wouldn't have checked them out at the festival.
I have to admit, I'm actually shocked by that because I thought you have just loved them forever.
No, I haven't. And that's the thing. It's like a lot of people, like when you release a big lineup like that, you scan it and you're like, oh, this is the band I want to see. And it's almost like you block out all the ones that you don't know.
Yeah.
And it's really good music, just begging to be found. You know what I mean? So
Yes. Yeah. And we did discuss this the other day. I mean, to me, it's like when I first came across the festival as a whole, like when I started first getting wind of this festival, it was when I started to see these artist announcements. I was like, hang on a second, like they're not announcing like the lineup at once. Like this is kind of cool. I like this idea because it's the anticipation. You know, it's the build up, and I mean that to me is the thing. I mean, you know, when a festival, I mean, because this is what I told Danny this yesterday. When a festival drops a lineup, and let's say it's, I mean, sometimes it's like not until like months away. Like, you know, it could be like 6, 7, 8, 9 months away. But when they drop an entire lineup, you look at that lineup, you get excited for that day, and you don't think about it again until it's getting closer to the festival.
yeah, I mean, look at when we, oh my God, I can't speak anymore. When we were young, there were memes. I mean, everyone was talking about it for a week, and now it's kind of died down. And so like, I joined this team like after they implemented this, you know what I mean? And I really liked it as well. I understand that people want to see everything all at once, but I don't know, man. There's just something to be said about the way that it's done.
If
It's
you
original,
me,
and it's,
yeah,
you're able to check everyone out.
yeah. If you asked me, and if John ever had said at some point, you know, I'm thinking about switching it up, what do you think? I would say, you could tell my personal opinion is keep this format. I love this format because also it gives us a chance to talk about these bands. If you drop it all at once, it's like Danny and I would be here like for hours.
It's overkill. It would be overkill. I mean, people would be absolutely tired of us.
Yeah.
If they're not already.
If they're not already.
And another thing that I don't think people realize is that it's actually exhausting to do this. Like I told you, I feel like we have been announcing bands for years, and it's been like 4 days because it's like it's one right after the other. You have like 4 in a row per day or whatever it is. You know what I mean? It's not like you just drop the ad mat and you're done with it.
Right.
So this is a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. It is. And then also to, you know, to decide, you know, when you're dropping things to and who you're dropping. So, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of effort to put into this. So I love this format. I don't ever change it.
Coordinate, right? Because they're coordinating with everyone. Which is really cool to see. You know, it's not, you're not going to get bombarded by 100 of the same artists on the same platforms everywhere. It's everyone is kind of throwing their own punch with it, which really adds a unique flavor, and again that sense of community that Blue Ridge has really come to own, which is just really cool to see. So Amanda, another tip the hat to you. You guys are doing a fantastic job with this. I know it's exhausting, and I know people like Bernard and I, among others, probably drive you absolutely crazy. So thank you.
No, we love it. I get so excited.
Be careful.
I get so excited. Like when we're an hour from an announcement, I'm like geared up. I'm teed up. You know what I mean? And then like the best thing is to just see how excited everyone is for each individual artist. You know what I mean? It's very gratifying. So
yeah, awesome. I love it. I want to talk a little bit more about that, but let's get through the last two that we had here. So the next one. Okay, so Danny, you're allowed to brag now about this one. So this band, Metacorp from Richmond, Virginia.
Danny gets hold on.
I don't even live in Virginia anymore, Bernard. So
they are from Virginia.
Yeah, let's let Amanda have the spotlight on this one for a second.
Yeah, you want to go ahead, Amanda? You can announce this one.
Go ahead. You give them all the stuff. I'll fill in later. But they are from Virginia, not Florida. Virginia. These are Richmond boys.
Richmond boys. They were here last year at the festival in 2021. Metacorp sound. They are signed with Sumerian Records, and the band that we're talking about here is Bad Omens. So Bad Omens has, let me take a quick peek here. They got together around 2013, so they're fairly kind of new on the scene. I guess that's fairly new to me. They released their first self-titled album in 2016 called Bad Omens. And as we were talking about those Billboard chart numbers, I was able to actually find for this one. They hit the U.S. Heat Seeker list on the Billboard records. They peaked at number 9 with that album. Not bad for a debut whatsoever, right?
That album is a banger too.
Yeah, then in 2019, they had Finding God Before God Finds Me. That hit the Heat Seeker list at number 4, that peaked. That's huge. You know, you can get into the top 5 of any of the Billboard charts. You're doing something right. And then even better, this Friday, February 25th, at least according to what I'm seeing here, unless somebody knows something otherwise, the release of their next album, their third, The Death of Peace of Mind,
Yes.
comes in via Sumerian. So,
and that single is phenomenal. It's so good.
So go ahead, talk about them. They're your boys.
Well, I mean, I don't know in detail what you do. I haven't researched that far, but I've seen them. If I can make it to their set this year, this will be the 4th time that I'm seeing them. I saw them when they were playing in Richmond, just as locals, opening up for bands. And then they did the Sumerian 10-year tour where they opened for Era, Upon a Burning Body, Born of Osiris. God, it was stacked. Who else was there? I think like 1 or 2 more bands, but they were the openers. And I was like, to watch a band that's local to me get so big, it's amazing. And they're so sweet. Like Noah, the front man, he is the sweetest thing, I swear. But yeah, I'm really excited that they're coming back.
Awesome. I have to sadly admit, I have never seen them.
You gotta do it.
So yeah, I may have to do it. Danny, what do you know?
Sorry.
No, I'm saying, go ahead, Amanda.
I broke the fan zone today because I was like, well, here's my bands. Like I said, I'm the metalcore kid, so we kind of pick which ones we want to announce, and everyone was like, oh my God, it's Bad Flower. And I was like, oh no, this backfired. It's not. I was like, I don't want everyone to be sad right now. I want them to be. So.
Broke the fan zone. Good job. So Danny, what do you got of Bad Omens?
I'm big fan of their songs that I've heard. I have not streamed them nearly as much as I would like. And unfortunately, being volunteered on site last year with Blue Ridge, I had to miss their set. So seeing them announced, I am ecstatic that I now have an opportunity to really go and enjoy their set this time around.
They'll get my highlighted. They're going to get my highlight of.
They will definitely be highlighted, and their sound has just evolved beautifully over the last couple of years. You could tell that they've gotten more comfortable with who they are as a band, and seeing, I mean, just their writing, their music, all of it. So I'm certainly pumped that this one was added.
Okay.
Me too. I didn't get to see them last year either, but I heard that they were amazing and that the pits were insane.
All the comments I've seen from the fan zone and even on the actual festival page about, that announcement has been nothing but positive. So cool deal. Well, I remember one guy specifically saying, if any of the bands you were going to get me excited about, this is the one I'm excited about.
Yeah, one guy commented, he had me laughing. He was like, okay, fine, I'll buy tickets.
There you go.
10 artists in, and they're, hey, whatever it takes.
Can we just pause for a moment? 10 is a lot because we just started, but 10 is nothing compared to how many more we have. It's blowing my mind. Like I can't comprehend how Jonathan does this. I can't do it.
He's got that love. That's what it is. It's the love of the music.
That is everything it boils down to.
Yeah.
He's a machine.
He is a machine. Yeah. I say that on record. Jonathan Sly, you are a machine when it comes to booking these bands and putting this together. So thank you. Appreciate that. All right. The last one. Now,
the big one.
This is big.
The big one.
If anyone saw my comments on this, especially on my personal page, because when I saw this, I was like, F yeah, I'm in. Holy crap, Jinjer is coming to Blue Ridge. So this band, even if you're new to the fan zone, this band last year was probably I don't want to use the word tag. they were mentioned so many times of, can we get Jinjer to come to the festival? When are you going to announce Jinjer? Are they coming? And it's like they were, the problem was that, you know, they were in that same boat like In Flames were, you know, like they couldn't tour, you know, they were kind of in a lockdown. There was no way to get half these bands out here. But they just recently toured through here on a headlining tour. I got to photograph that show, and holy, I can't say it, but holy bleep,
Bernard,
you
can
know,
you hear
it
me?
was
You're
awesome.
you're breaking up. I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear me
Unfortunately,
now?
unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he's fangirling right now.
Yes, I am
He
fangirling right
certainly
now.
is.
I freaking love
He
this
certainly
band.
is.
I mean, my gosh, you know, it's just, let me go through the stuff first, then I'll talk about them in a second. This is Ukrainian metalcore, okay? And you want to talk about this band, when you talk about Ukrainian metalcore, is such a whole different vibe than what US metalcore is supposed to be. I mean, because it honestly is. You know, you have it in a sense like, I mean, to me, it's like, I don't know. But the vocals, the music, the way they compose and put together, this isn't your standard metalcore stuff that you're going to see. Ironically enough, they don't have many like actual studio albums. They only have 4. So they had Cloud Factory that was come out in 2014. That was their first one. It got re-released in 2018. I think it was under a different label at that time. You had The King of Everything in 2016. You had Macro. Holy bleep, that album was fantastic in 2019. And then you had Wallflowers. That was the most recent one. And I'm kind of I like that album, but I don't think it was as good as Macro. I think Macro was better. That's personal opinion. They did have 3 also EPs that came out. Objects in Mirror Are Closer Than They Appear, 2009. Inhale, Don't Breathe, 2012. That got re-released in 2013. And then you had Micro, which was the complementary to Macro in 2019. That EP is awesome too. And then they had one live album. It's called Alive in Melbourne in 2020. And that was a phenomenal recorded set. I just can't say enough about this band. The hype that people were building in the fan zone for Jinjer is so worth the wait. It's so true to form because they deliver a performance live that will blow your mind. And if you're looking already for bands like, who am I going to mosh to? If you're a mosher and you're not in that pit at Jinjer, you are doing yourself a disservice. I'll leave it with that.
Old, but true. Very true. Again, I mean, I think you summed up the band perfectly. I don't know that there's really a whole lot more I can add. I have not seen them, so I am ecstatic at that opportunity, and I will be in that pit, hopefully, assuming that I'm surviving by whatever time that they're playing. At some point, Bernard, I will be dragging you to a pit. There may be if there's a geriatric pit at some point throughout the course of the weekend. Whatever it takes.
I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with a geriatric pit.
I'll hold your cameras, guys.
God, no way. No way. That is so not me. So not me. Just not my thing. Here, let me.
I was ecstatic to see Jinjer come across as an announcement. I was certainly part of that hype last year and fully on board with that for this year.
God, I mean, I just couldn't. Amanda, what's your take?
I mean, they're fine. It's not my style, but the excitement that you see that surrounds them, I knew that this was going to be a really big one, and I was stoked to get that out and see everybody be excited. And it's been nothing but positive feedback, honestly. So.
Oh yeah, I'm super stoked about them. I love it. Let me share something with you real quick. I'm going to share this, and I know the live stream is probably a delay, but I'm going to share a picture here real quick. This one. And its wonderful rainbow technicolor is Jinjer, and that was at House of Blues Orlando. I mean, but the fact is, like, this is the kind of wild stuff that they do. It's just, here, hang on a second. You know, their performance is like, I could not help when they had these screens in the background with the patterns and lighting, and I mean, like that alone, it was just amazing.
That's a beautiful
and if you look at her, she here is wearing it's what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, it's almost like glow in the dark makeup that she has on, because you could see in like silhouette shots. And if I could find that one real quick, she's like literally, I don't want to say glowing in a sense, but she kind of is. Where was that?
She's like a wee little glow stick.
She's like a little glow stick. Is it this one? I mean, you can see it here. You know, I mean, they're just, yeah. I mean, the energy that band brings to the stage just blows my mind. It was just it was crazy. To get to photograph that show alone was just like, wow. You know, after 3 songs, and then to watch the rest of it, it was just like, wow. I mean, like I'm just like pumped.
I'm fangirling over it, which is just awesome. I mean,
he's losing his mind right now. I love it.
He is, and you know, and for the number of shows that you go to, and you know, you would think that, okay, it's another concert, whatever, but you could see, like, you see the excitement, and it's very, very evident at how contagious that's going to be. So
here's the thing. It's, you know, with all the, I mean, you're right to a point. I mean, for those who haven't known me, I've been doing this since 2016 when it comes to, you know, concert photography and such. And, you know, a lot of people would be like, well, isn't the show just another show? And it's not, it never has been for me. You know, like I have a love of music and it fuels my soul. It fuels my blood. And it's just, when there's a band that I hadn't seen yet, or that I have listened to over and get the opportunity to actually get to photograph and review one of their shows, it thrills me. And especially when they live up to the hype. So when Jinjer finally made it to Orlando, because they've been on tour before, but they just never kind of got down here, at least not to a point where I could get to them, you know, because they hit Tampa, and Tampa's like an hour and a half for me. So on a weekday, that's not ideal for me to travel up and travel back, you know, on a work night. So, you know, because I'm old. You know, so when I finally got an opportunity to see their show and photograph them, it was like, yeah, and it lived up to everything I expected it to be. So yeah, I'm fangirling for good reason.
All right, well, since we're speaking of that, can you bust out those bad flower pictures you never sent to me?
No.
You know what?
You want to see? You mean you want to see the bad flower pics? Is that what
I
you're saying?
do. Not that it has anything to do with this year. I just wanted, you dragged me on here, so you owe me the pictures at this point.
Hang on a second. What day did they play? What day did they play? Do you remember? Was it Saturday?
Saturday, yeah.
Hang
The 10th?
Give me a second. Because you're like,
was it the 11th?
Yeah,
I
the
can't
10th.
remember.
No, the 11th. You're right. Because believe it or not, I haven't edited like any of like half my photos from Blue Ridge. It's sad to say, but I just
Shame.
haven't. Yeah,
shame. Tomato.
I need to go do that. Here, let's do a quick few for Amanda's sake, because, you know, keep in mind these are unedited pictures, so, you know, color me up.
I just remember stealing your phone during this set because mine had died and I wanted pictures to post.
Yeah, I remember that too. I sent you all those. I sent you those. I really love that.
These are good though.
That was all prior to getting in there. I mean, I will. So people, just so you're aware, Bad Flower played on that Saturday night opposite Megadeth. I gave up Megadeth to shoot Bad Flower.
For me.
We could say that.
I feel like I had a big part. I was like, Bernard, I'm telling you, you've got to do it.
Well, the thing, you know what, honestly, for me, it's that I felt Bad Flower was going to be the more exciting artist to shoot. You know, I mean, it
was a great crowd, honestly.
Yeah, like, it was an awesome crowd. It was fantastic.
Even though he was sick and stuff like that, like it really was a lot of fun.
Oh, I completely had forgotten about that. Yeah. Tell that
he had
story.
Laryngitis.
Yeah.
He had laryngitis, and he had played, I can't remember the festival right before us. I think it was oh my gosh, Ink, probably.
Probably, yeah. It would have been Ink. It was right on the same
and
time.
They played, but he didn't sing at all. And then he had posted on his Twitter that he was in the doctor's office. And I remember running around backstage. I was like, please tell me Bad Flower's not pulling up. Please tell me. And they didn't. Like, they were like, no, we're not pulling out. And he sang, and it was awesome.
There's the shot that you always love. That back bend.
Send that to me as soon as this ends, please, and thank you.
Yeah. There you go. So there's some of those photos.
They're really good though. I love to see your guys' photos.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Mhm.
So yeah, those are all of our artists that we had. So Amanda, while we have you here, I want to ask if you can say, because I know there's stuff that you're not allowed to reveal, and we are recorded. I'm reminding you one again. Do you have a planned cadence for artist announcements at this time? Are we going to see more the rest of the week around the same time frame, or can you not say?
You gonna mess around and get me fired, man. More artist announcements are coming this week, yes. But can I say the times and think? No, not right now.
Okay.
What if Bernard
that's more
sends you
Jonathan's
extra
thing.
bad flower pictures?
And I'll think about it. I will think about it.
Oh my! I gotta get through my sticks pictures from Sunday first, so because I gotta do those.
Look, if
So-
you haven't edited since September, look,
It's never too
you're
late.
slacking, buddy. You got to get on that.
The problem with that is that the review to me always comes first, and I only do like quick hit pictures of like when I do reviews of especially of a festival, just a few from the main bands that I covered, and then eventually I'd go back and start doing other ones. But after September, I was fairly busy with stuff, and it's just I had a lot of life changes like right around that time frame too, so that prevented a lot for me to do editing and whatnot. So that's a part of it. Fun stuff.
I mean, it got busy. Like I said, everything opened up all at once because like COVID shut everything down. And then I feel like all of the tours started. Everyone was announcing.
Yeah, they did. Everyone was announcing all at once. It's crazy.
It's very overwhelming. I was like, my credit card will simply not recover.
Just tell them to play Blu-rays. Problem solved. There you go.
I don't have that power. People think I have this power. I don't. I try so hard.
Make the power happen. That's all. Just make it happen.
I can do my very best.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. So Dan, do we have any comments and stuff that people want we need to touch on, or?
I have lost some of the comments because we've actually had quite a few coming in, which is fantastic. We really appreciate you guys all being here with us. I did see for a second that Sepsis was hanging out with us. What's up? Really good to see you out here.
Thanks for coming back again.
We have a fair amount of empathy for your problem of way too many concert photos to edit and not enough time. So, I get that. A lot of begging for hints. So obviously I don't know anything. So Amanda,
you don't know anything. Amanda does, but she can't say. So
that's right.
Sorry.
I mean, she can't even come on
now.
video. So I get it.
Yeah.
Love you guys a long time, but my lips.
We just appreciate you being able to give us some time, Amanda. We really do.
You're welcome anytime.
Bring me back on in the future when more of my vibe is going on. You feel me?
More Metacorp stuff.
the Warp Tour type thing is God. I loved Warp Tour. That was a good time.
Okay. Well, we're waiting still for more of those bands to show up. So as soon as they do, we can.
Did either of you geriatrics go to Warp Tour?
Yes.
No.
Thank you.
Never. No.
One time with a broken leg, and it was wonderful.
With a broken leg? No, I couldn't do that.
Nope.
Yep. Nope. I had my crutches, and I was still right there in the pit for flogging Molly. And I'm not going to say it was the smartest thing I've ever done, but it definitely wasn't the dumbest thing I've ever done either. So
look, it's a memory.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, the problem with when Warped Tour came to Orlando the last time it came through, it was at a venue and it was in the middle of summer. And we're talking about, like, for us, it was, it's 98 degrees outside.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Yeah. So no.
That would suck.
Yeah. Outdoor fest during that time.
Someone said, "Bring Me the Horizon, please." That's one of my favorite bands. I will say that right off the bat. I've loved them forever.
Absolutely love
Can we?
them.
I know that it's like a little past your guys' bedtime and all that, but Bring Me the Horizon and Ed Sheeran. Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah,
Because
no,
my
absolutely.
God,
Absolutely.
Because here, I'll give you my take
completely
on it.
unrelated, but oh
No.
my, I was
Yeah,
blown
It's
away.
music, it's related.
Okay, hang on a second. So let's put a preference here. This is not a hint, clue, or anything about
No,
the
I'm
band
just talking.
the
Yeah.
festival, okay? Just putting out that disclaimer right
This
now.
is a tangent, but a tangent that's necessary.
Absolutely.
Yes, because there's been a lot of fans who have been bashing the whole Bring Me the Horizon Ed Sheeran thing. Okay, here's my take on it. Anytime that a band can do something cool, neat, different, that blows up and goes viral is a positive thing. Even if it's not my vibe. I am not an Ed Sheeran fan. That's not me. Just not my thing. But I still think that was a really cool thing that they did. I'm game for it. It's fine. I have no complaints about it.
To
that's
watch
me.
metal be represented on the Brit Awards, phenomenal. Not to mention that whole production. If you
That was
watch
absolutely
it, oh
mind blowing. It was like
Rolling.
watching Cirque du Soleil. I mean,
Yes.
it was
Their shows are kind of like that. So
jaw on the floor. But that's another band, right? That like they started out. I used to watch them at like the Canal Club in Richmond, where it's just packed out with all these like angsty kids moshing. And now
Ed
they're
Sheeran?
like, no, well, maybe, I don't know. I've never been, but like catch them at the
Not quite.
Norva and Norfolk and stuff like that. And like now they're playing, like they did that whole thing with the orchestra, where it was the Wembley Hall in England. Like that's massive. And now they're on the Brit
huge.
Awards. Like it's so cool to watch these different genres be like blended like that and be represented. It's so cool. Even if you don't catch the vibe or whatever and you don't necessarily like it, very cool to watch it happen.
Yeah, and I'll admit, there are songs of theirs they just don't resonate with me like at all. Where like that I'd hear a particular single that they did and I'd be like, nope, this is not my thing, and that's
Bring
okay.
the Horizon.
Yeah,
Well, it's
there's
because you're
some that
old.
just
That's why.
he's
Like,
lost some of his
you
angst.
wouldn't get it, Bernard. You wouldn't get it.
You don't have enough to be pissed off about, Bernard.
Right.
I have a lot to be pissed off. But no, I mean, but the thing is, it's just that, it's the fact that people are like, oh gosh, I can't believe they're doing this with Ed Sheeran. It's like, come on, this is like the same discussion to me of when Metallica cut their hair. They sold out. They're not metalheads anymore. Dude, like this band is like dominated the metal market since, God, for how long? Since the Black Album, let's put it that way, right? That they've suddenly dominated the entire metal market, because if any band is anyone, it's Metallica. I'd say Metallica would probably be the first, like, let me say, metal band, if it ever happens to play a Super Bowl, maybe, if one hasn't already that I can think of off the top of my head, because they're just that well known. But every band, Bring Me the Horizon is trying to elevate themselves too at the same time. And if someone, and Ed Sheeran and them could have to say, hey, let's do a compilation of something together. I mean, it's just showing like, evolution and variety, and the fact that, they've just made their name even larger than it was before. Not like they needed to, but they did. This isn't a griping point to me. But,
I mean, and it's the same people complaining that like don't understand that people as well as bands are naturally just going to evolve.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like they're not the same people at 20 years old that they are now. So they're going to sing about different stuff. They're going to have a different flow to their music, whatever the case may be. It's not that they've sold out. It's that they're more comfortable. Like Danny said earlier with Bad Omens, you can tell when a band is doing things for the label and when they're just comfortable and they're being themselves. And I appreciate that so much.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at any band that you know of and tell me that at some point in time that band from when they started to where they are now hasn't changed. You want me to give you a great example of one, and one of my favorite bands, Theory of a Dead Man. When Theory of a Dead Man first came out, they were very hard rock heavy. They changed and evolved a lot.
Yeah.
Do I like everything that they changed to, like in the singles that they've released recently? Maybe not. Maybe it's not my thing. But look how big they are now as a band, right? I mean, that's just bound to happen. It's a evolution of the music. It's an evolution of themselves. You know, it's where they felt like this is where the music was leading us to, and this is where we want to represent ourselves as. And that's okay. I'd still go see every show of theirs because I love that band.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
it's just part of art, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's a way of expressing and it's a way of evolving, but it's communication at the same time. It's however and wherever you feel. And I mean, if you can interpret it one way and I interpret it a different way, but we're all enjoying it, then who the hell cares? Like,
Exactly.
and if you don't, guess what? Then that art isn't for you.
Yep.
But you know, and if you want to bring that right back to Blue Ridge, 169 artists, 5 stages, 4.5 days.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to be complaining about one band's presence because of a collaboration or because of a cover or because of God knows what, you're missing all that can be done and all those connections that you really have there.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me, that's the beauty of it.
And that's and reminder, this is just our personal opinion, you know, of how we feel. Just that this is a topic. I agree with Amanda. It's a topic that got brought up in the fan zone and it kind of blew up. And I was just like, why are we arguing about this? It's like, it's just, you know, if you don't like it, that's fine. But to just like outright trash and say this is, you know, oh, it brings Bring Me the Horizon down. Not according to their paychecks. I bet you it doesn't.
Yeah. I mean,
awards, right?
And again, like Bernard said, this is just my personal opinions outside of like the festival or whatever, but I could send you to a gift basket right now because I watch so many people argue, like if Jinjer, for example, like I don't necessarily like Jinjer, but I'm not going to be upset at people that do because there's going to be tons of bands that I do like that are going to be in. And I watch people fight and I'm like, man, you guys don't even know what's coming. You know what I mean? Like you're going to be happy just like they are right now.
I mean,
I can guarantee it. The mix is way, like the way that Jonathan has done things, there literally is something, a lot of things for everyone.
Yeah. I look at the 11 bands that already got announced and look at the blend.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You can't
everyone
see that.
Last year was like, and I think you guys pointed this out, everyone was like, where are all the female artists? So the first day it was nothing but females
already.
Yeah.
And then you've got Jinjer today with the female vocalist. It's like, we're like you guys have said, they're listening, you know what I mean? So it's like, we get it, but also like, don't berate someone because they don't have your specific music taste.
Kindness, compassion.
If anything, be grateful because that means that's one less person that you have to fight to get to the front.
Get to the front. Thank you, Danny.
Let's try to put a positive spin. And if there's a band that you don't like, it's a great opportunity to grab something to eat or to sit and relax for a minute. Because go ahead, Bernard.
Honestly, or maybe actually just give them a chance and listen.
Yes.
And maybe you might be surprised.
And that's so incredible.
There it is.
Like I do love metal, but I will listen to indie. Yeah, I listen to all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like there are a lot of people like that where our taste is all over the place. Like you were like, I don't know who Ed Sheeran is. I love Ed Sheeran. I really do. I love him. So when that mashup came out, I was like, oh my God, I was not expecting this. But there are some people that are just so stuck in their ways, I feel like, that they won't give anything else a chance, and you're doing yourself a disservice at that point because there's so much good music out there.
There is too much good music. I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, I'll say this. I'll go on record saying this. I can't wait until Blue Ridge starts dropping, you know, because I think someone already confirmed this at some point. It might have been during the Zoom call. So, well, I'm not going to say too much about that. I know there is a certain type of artist that is going to be announced at some point in time. And I can't wait to see when this happens, because I think fans, when they understand, you'll understand when they see the names, I'm sure, whoever they are. But when they fit this particular category and they see them, they're going to be like, wow, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, take the club last year. Everyone was like, rap artists, why?
Yeah.
And it was a good time.
And you know, my answer to that was like, "Oh, this is so cool."
Yeah, it was really cool.
I'm not a hip hop
people
rap
that,
fan,
and
really
again, like it comes back to like I really like Blink 182. They went on tour with Lil Wayne. I would never go see Lil Wayne if he was like on a headlining tour. But when I saw him, it was so much fun when he was opening for them. I'm glad that I saw him. It was a great time. You just have to be open-minded and give things a chance, I think.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Wholeheartedly agree, for sure. So, yeah. This is I can't. So I'm gonna say this. The next time someone speaks to Jonathan, please thank him for Jinjer for me.
Oh,
And for Butcher Babies, because those, I mean, though, yeah.
oh yeah, you were really stoked about Butcher Babies.
I am stoked about them because I mean, if you want to put together like to me like one of those, we're gonna do like a female-led metal tour. Those are the two artists that would come to my forefront and
See,
watch
and I don't.
minds explode.
Females are difficult. Like, I don't know, man. I've just never really loved a female-led band, which is crazy because I'm a female. Why wouldn't I want to see that in metal? You know what I mean? But like,
Okay.
to me, it's just like something that I'm just not used to because I didn't grow up with that influence, I guess. Because when I grew up, those bands they weren't mainstream. You know what I mean?
Yes, and when I grew up, we barely had any. I mean, really,
Right.
I like Kitty.
You had 80s glam.
Yeah, you had like Janis Joplin and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about but real like metal.
Right. There was nothing.
Lead. Like, yeah, I can't think of anything. I mean, we had Heart for Rock, but
right. So
like,
for me, it's like it's something that I'm still like getting used to. And I like it, but I'm just I'm getting used to it. And it's so crazy to me that I don't gravitate towards it.
I love it. I need more. Bring them on. As far as I'm concerned, keep this lineup rolling the way it is. Yeah, this is good stuff. Absolutely good stuff. All right. We got anything else comment wise in the fan zone? We need to chat about?
A whole lot of women fronted bands that are
No,
all the recommendations,
hold on.
all the requests.
Wait,
Megan, hold on.
Or am I thinking of Oren?
Let me defend myself here. I do like Evanescence. And I do like In This Moment, but I've seen them live far too much, I think. I am just like, okay, like for me, it's like a day to remember where I'm like, I really like them, but I've seen them live so many times that I would probably like go to another stage at that point if someone else was playing. You know what I mean? That I really wanted.
I would never miss them either, by the way. Florida band, once again.
You know what?
I love you. Just saying. No, I get. I understand. I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean, it's I will say I've heard people say the same thing. About artists who are I like, to me, I would go see In This Moment anytime I could. That's me. But there are people out there who agree with your point of view too, where it's like I've seen so much of them, I don't want to see more of them. I want to see other artists that are out there, and that's the one thing I love about this festival. I saw last year so many new artists I've never heard of before, and was pleasantly surprised. The Ghost Inside, when that announcement got made, I hate to admit I had not heard of them until that point. And everyone's looking at me like, "Are you out of your mind?" I'm like, They
are fantastic.
Yeah, and I went to that.
I will say, just on a personal level, like I am tired of seeing festivals or shows with the same headliners over and over and over. So it's incredibly refreshing to see new people. You know what I mean? Like coming in.
I know what you mean. We've decided not to talk about other festivals in that sense, and we're having these discussions so we can try not to be biased. I'll use that word. Because we're speaking out Blue Ridge for Blue Ridge, in the sense, and we're helping to promote to people what this festival does. I mean, there are other festivals out there that have some great lineups too. Don't get me wrong, but I
they're wonderful.
Your point of view. I do understand your point of view.
They're wonderful. I just mean, like, when I was a teenager, my dad used to take me to shows like Ozfest and things like that, for example. I felt like it was the same big bands over and over, where the smaller bands like pretty much had to wait until those big bands were done being headliners.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to
Yes,
me, it's
no,
just
I do
like,
know what you know. I do know what you mean. You
yeah,
know,
I
because
like the
I mean,
mid cards better usually than headliners at festivals. That's what I gravitate towards too.
and you know, it's kind of, I don't want to say this to sound, I don't want to say it to sound wrong, because I like, because mid, you know, when we talk about like the mid, you know, people say, oh, they're like a mid card band. Like they're a band that you expect to see in the middle of a festival, never at like the headline and top, whatnot.
Right.
But some of those bands that people reference are some fantastic artists and amazing. And
Yeah,
Blue Ridge
that's what I
had,
mean.
yeah, and Blue Ridge had, I would say, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but they had a large grouping of that last year, and it put on such a fantastic, you know, event because of that. You know, it was just like there was so much to choose from and so many bands that so many people loved. It was like my sadness part was that I could not ever physically get to everyone I wanted to see. That was like
Yeah,
the thing that I
in
hated the most. But
2019, in 2019, when I was a fan and I didn't like do anything for the festival, it was the mid card that brought me there because it was
right,
just so robust and stuff. And that was more my speed. And it wasn't bands that I had already seen a couple of times. Because for me, it's like, and I'm like that with everything. I can't watch the same movie over and over. Like because I already know what happens, you know what I mean? I've already seen it. So, and for other people, that's fine. If that's what you like, that's totally fine. But like I just feel like some of these smaller, like Bad Omens, for example, they were opening for a really long time and now they're really getting that platform that I feel like they deserve. Do you know what I
mhm,
mean?
yeah,
And it's nice to see that. It's nice to see them getting like larger set times rather than like the 15, 20 minutes and things like
right.
that.
And you're seeing, I say even right. I mean, well, let's, you know, realistically with the 11 that were listed, you know, except I don't know, I'm kind of like looking at In Flames just because they've been around for so long. But a lot of the bands that you're listing, I mean, even Nonpoint 2, as much as they've headlined shows, you unfortunately would never see them as the headliner at a festival because most times they've just never put in that slot, you know,
Exactly.
to do
Exactly.
so. And right. And it's like, and I love these bands and I'm okay with them being on the card because I would come for these bands. Just the 11 you lined up, there's like 3, 4, 5, 6 of them off the top of my head that I would be like, yeah, I'm absolutely there for these people because this is just the start. And I said this yesterday, right, Danny? I said, remember everyone, right now, if you look at the artists that were released, and if you're excited over this, this is just the tease of what's coming.
Wait.
Yeah.
Right?
I
Because
mean,
we
if you
all
go to the
know,
website, you can see like the order that they're in on the website. And so
oh,
we're still kind of like
On the lineup,
towards
you
the
could
middle and the
kind of
bottom.
see. Yep.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
and
So this
again,
is
it's just for me personally, like I said, I'm not speaking on behalf of the festival or anything, just as a fan. And I like to always remind people that I am always a fan first. That's why I got into this position in the first place, just because I love music like you guys do. And it's just refreshing to see a different take on what has been done, I guess, in the past with different things. To see different bands get the chance to headline and different things like that, it's really refreshing and it gives them a good platform and more time to, you know, show everybody how talented they are, which is great.
and I'll say with last year's Rising Talent group that was out there at the
Oh,
festival performing,
yeah.
some of those bands, and I'm going to call out friends who I've met, and I interviewed them, and you know became very close with them, at least definitely with their lead singer because you know she's a wonderful person. But Dying Oath, if you saw the
They're great.
crowd that was there just for them, it would have blew your mind. I mean, and this is a band that was probably on no one's radar. No offense, guys, on no one's radar in a sense, you know, whatsoever, because they're so. I think they're just because so regionally local and maybe not have the chance to tour national yet. But holy hell, that crowd was huge. And they blew the roof off of that stage. And it was an amazing performance with such energy and vibe. And it was like, woo, yeah, I had just like waves of chills that came over for that one. So, I mean, but that's the thing about this type of festival, you know?
Yeah,
like,
and that's what I'm talking about. Like I love to be able to see new bands like that. That's how I discovered Bad Omens, for example. I went to a bigger show in Richmond and they were opening. And I was like, oh my God, who are these guys? And then next thing you know, they're on a festival.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
For people to have that platform, like it's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's like I learned of so many new artists who, I really learned to love. Misty Eyed was one of them. Fame on Fire was one of them. Like I was literally streaming them up in the car on the way up to Virginia and never had heard of them before. And like literally caught their music as I found a Blue Ridge Rock Festival set list, that somebody put together like on one of the streaming services. And Fame on Fire came on a lot and fell in love with them and then got to see them and shoot that set. I was like, man, these guys are good. I love them. So yeah, I mean, there's
just the diversity of rising talent, right? I mean, you look at someone like Matt Irie Band, who much more summer vibe, totally fun set, compared to say someone like Dying Oath, who also equally fun, completely different vibe. But again, it kind of goes into that whole blend of everything, and you're showcasing all of this incredible talent. And I had no idea who either of them were, let alone some of the bigger bands that were on there last year. I mean, this is why we're doing what we're doing, right? Giving people an opportunity, a little bit of background, and digging up what we can on some of these artists as they're announced, because these are all artists that should be on the radar for people.
Yeah, and we would give them a chance to introduce and and hopefully maybe fans will be able to tell us some things about their favorite bands as these are announced too, and we'll learn some things in the process.
For sure.
So yeah,
I like that you guys go through the albums and stuff like that. It's really cool.
I think it just gives a little bit of background history, so you can understand like how long has this band been out there for, and like see like that history. I mean, because like Nonpoint, for example, my gosh, I mean, it's 10 albums out into the into the fray, and I think like almost 20 years plus that they've been around, and it's like, and they're still going strong.
Yeah.
Love those guys.
And again,
arguably stronger than ever, mind you.
Yeah.
Yes.
It impresses me so much that they're still so humble. You know what I mean? And they're still so like, they're so engaged with their fans.
They are. They absolutely are. I love them for their, I can't wait to see the rest of this stuff as you guys are dropping. I'm excited. More and more excited. Now, if I can only get sure that I get cleared for a photo pass, I'll be good. Nudge, nudge. Just saying. I'll be sad if I don't get approved for this festival this year. That's all I got to say.
I'll talk to the man upstairs.
Just my 2 cents. Just my 2 cents. All right. So we've been at this for a bit. Danny, anything else comment-wise we need to touch in from people?
There's a lot of support for the mid card.
All right.
So that certainly that makes me happy to hear. So
yeah.
That's why we're doing what we're doing. So this is awesome. Thank you for those that have been viewing and hanging with us. We're looking forward to doing this again. At this point, this may become daily or every other day, depending on the amount of announcements that come in, because rapid fire can only do but so much when we're getting 4 artists a day or however many it's going to end up being.
We originally planned this to be like a once a week thing because we just did not think the content drop was going to be as heavy. And if we waited till Monday, we probably would have like 25 bands to go over. I think that's a little overkill. So, I mean, if you can give me heads up on some of these, I'd appreciate it. Just saying.
Here's how many's in a day.
At least like, hey, we're dropping 4 today. That's all I need to know, and Danny and I can, we'll plan. So, but in any case, thanks everyone for joining. Amanda, thank you for coming on. I want you to come back again.
Thank you guys for having me on. It was awesome. I've had a lot of fun.
And we'll see, maybe we can get Todd on, because Danny had a great idea. I'd love to get Todd on to talk about camping. And
that would be cool. Todd was gonna come on tonight, but he's at work right now and he ended up getting busy, so he abandoned me. But
that's okay. I'd love to have him on to talk about camping, because I think that's Danny's idea, and I think it'd be a great showcase for people to kind of understand what the process is like.
He owns that process so well.
He's a straight up camping veteran. Like, people ask me camping questions and I refer them to Todd, because I don't camp at festivals, but that's totally his thing. So
yeah, I concur. That'd be great to do. So we'll see if we can get that happening. But So once again, Danny, thank you as always. Amanda, thank you for joining. I hope to have you back soon.
Thank you.
And for everyone who's been viewing, thank you so much, because I appreciate your support, for doing, like, I hadn't done live streams on my page in a really long time. I think the last ones I did was about Blue Ridge last year, and unfortunately that was for a different reason. And I didn't do it through my official page, I did it through my personal. So, these have been fun and entertaining, and I'm glad that everyone who's been watching has been enjoying them. If there's something you want us to do different, something you want us to talk about, feel free to message the Photo Pit. Drop us a message there, and I'll take a look, and I can talk to Danny, and we'll figure out something to discuss, based on your feedback. But yeah, thank you. We appreciate it. Absolutely. So with that being said, we will go ahead and call it an evening. Thanks once again, everyone. And we'll be back again with another, review of artist announcements. As soon as they start dropping, we'll be back on to discuss what got dropped and see what's going on. So we'll see if the Blue Ridge Rock Festival team ends up like killing Danny and I over this week. Or
our spouses do, because this is what we're doing instead.
Yes, exactly. I could be doing laundry to wear my Photo Pit shirts, but I can't because we're doing these. So
I thought it was so funny that you reached out and you were like, "So we're going live again tonight," and I was like, "I thought that was next Monday."
Yeah, if you guys keep dropping, because like I said, I can't. If you drop, let's say, like 4 artists a day over the next 3 days, that's already 12 more. Plus, potentially the weekend, you might drop even more. So by the time Monday comes around, it might be another 4 more. So now we're talking about the 16 to 20 artists we'd have to go through in like maybe an hour. Now I can't do that. So I want to stay relevant. So yeah, we'll do them as they drop. We'll just keep going. Unless Danny has other things to do.
How are you? Speaking of Danny, though, like, I know you're trying to get up. How are you healing up, though, from your surgery and all that?
I'm good.
I've been following along with your blog, so.
I really appreciate that. Yeah, I am doing very well. I got the all clear to be back in a normal life again. So a few weeks down and paying life forward. So it's a really cool opportunity and humbling experience. So thank you for asking.
Danny, where's your blog? Promote it. Where's your blog?
Weekendconversations.com.
Weekendconversations.com. For those of you who don't know, Danny donated a kidney. There's a huge story behind it. It's definitely worth the read, and to see the stuff that Danny decided to do to go through this process in helping to save someone's life. And it is truly just an awe-inspiring moment, because, sir, you are definitely the better man than me on this one, and without a doubt in the world. This was awesome that you went and did this. So yeah, please go ahead and give that a read, or 2 or 3 or 4, and share that out to friends. If you know anyone who's been in that certain situation, who's been an organ donor or something along those lines, this weekendconversations.com, you can read his whole story about his donation of a kidney to help save someone's life. Humbling, very humbling. So yeah, thank you, Danny, for that. Appreciate that.
I appreciate the shout.
Yeah, appreciate
definitely
it.
Awesome. He'll be back in the geriatric pit before you know it, guys.
On that note, it's been fun. Thank you again for hanging out with us, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks so much, everyone. We'll talk again soon.